Well, how did you spend your summer vacation? If you went to the movies, you weren't alone. According to Hollywood.com, this summer set a new revenue record for the 18 weeks between the start of May and the week before Labor Day. More than $4.25 billion in ticket sales. Popcorn, of course, extra. Paul Dergarabedian is president of the box office division of Hollywood.com. He joins us from Los Angeles. Would have been another $4 billion if we counted the popcorn, I would imagine, the way prices go at the concession stand. But this is an interesting summer because we can't help but note while the box office topped last summer, attendance was actually down by 13 million people this year.
Yeah, it was. And I say it's sort of the best of times and the worst of times because the fact that the movie industry is holding its own in this way is really impressive. You know, we had the biggest revenue-generating summer ever, but this was the 11th highest in terms of attendance. And that speaks volumes about how important the summer is, but also that the attendance, I mean, the revenues tell one story, but the attendance tells another. But I think in the face of all these emerging technologies and competition from other entertainment options, it's still a great business.
It may be a great business, but is it going to continue to be so? I mean, are they going to start pushing the envelope here? Ticket prices made up the difference there. You make the money if fewer people are coming by charging the ones who do go more. Are we finding any kind of an upper limit? Your note today says the average ticket price for the 2009 summer season, $7.45. That was up from $7.18 a year ago and $6.88. It's almost doubled in 2 years. Not doubled, but almost gained a full dollar in 2 years.
That's right, and that really pushed that revenue up, but that's kind of a false indicator because we really have to look at attendance. If we look back to 2002, we had 654 million tickets sold. This summer, 571 million tickets sold. That's a big difference. But nonetheless, it was a seesaw. In other words, compared to last summer, week over week, we'd be up for a few weeks, then down for a few weeks, and we barely eked out this revenue record. If you think about it, $54 million, it's like the opening weekend of, a mainstream, typical summer movie. So one movie can make all the difference. What really helped us, though, was August. G.I. Joe really started off the season huge, or started off that month in a huge way, and then we had District 9, Inglourious Basterds, and Final Destination, or The Final Destination, in 3D doing quite well. So the entire month of July was down. The entire month of August was up. But we had a tough comparison to last July with The Dark Knight. But certainly August gave us the record in terms of revenue.
Well, do you think it's because people can't afford to go to the movies anymore at these prices in a recession?
You know, I used to be sort of this proponent of the idea that the recession is driving ticket sales and that people, when the going gets tough, people go to the movies. But I think it just comes down to the product. That's it. It's about the concept. If the concept works and if it's appealing and if the word of mouth is great, remember we have that Twitter effect too, which can cause word of mouth to happen within hours or minutes after a film lets out and the people start talking about it. Social networking is becoming a big part of whether a movie survives or does not, just in the course of 24 hours over a weekend, over that Friday to Saturday period. So that's really interesting. Also, it was a starless summer. Other than Sandra Bullock in The Proposal and Johnny Depp in Public Enemies, and Meryl Streep, of course, in Julie and Julia, it was a starless summer. The films that really worked were like Star Trek, big ensemble cast, The Hangover, the same way. District 9 had Charlton Copley, who nobody really had heard of before then. And, of course, Inglourious Basterds had Brad Pitt, and he's a big star. So that's another example of a star-driven vehicle. But it's all about concept. It's about the marketing. I don't think people think recession when they go to the movies. They just think, do I want to see that movie? Is the marketing instilling in me that excitement and that need to go see it?
How do they deal, and I've only got 30 seconds left, but how do they deal with this social networking phenomenon now?
You make a good movie. That's how you deal with it. Then people will talk about it, but it puts a lot of pressure on studios and filmmakers to make great films because you used to be able to get away with having a great opening weekend based on the marketing. Now it's like you might get a great day, and once people start talking about your movie, positive or negative, that can impact the box office immediately.
If people don't like it, they let their friends know right away. All right, Paul Dergarabedian, stay with us. We'll be right back. Talk more about the movies. If they could bring in $1 billion a month in the summer, what does the autumn hold? We'll find out next. Welcome back to Taking Stock. We're talking summer movies. Audiences know what they like. Hollywood does too. 7 of the summer's 11 top-grossing films were sequels. So what's in store for this fall? Our guest is Paul Dergarabedian, president of the box office division of Hollywood.com. Paul, sequels dominate the summer. They have for a number of years. What are we likely to see in the fall? Are we going to see some originals that will then go on to be sequels?
Well, I think we could, and we usually do. And this is a very interesting season because there's a lot going on. And first of all, you have Avatar, which is the James Cameron 3D movie, which the studio put out there for people to see. They gave away tickets, and they sold out immediately for people to go see an extended 15 minutes of footage of the film. That says there's a lot of confidence in that movie, and this is really James Cameron's first major motion picture since Titanic. Also, when you talk about sequels, we have to talk about New Moon, the sequel to Twilight. I'm seeing buzz on this film like I haven't seen in a long time, and it's not just with teenagers. It's pretty much across the board, and particularly women love this series of books, and they're really going to come out in big numbers for this movie. In addition to that, you have towards the end of the year like the Oscar-style films and that kind of thing, and Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, directed by Guy Ritchie, looks really cool to me. And then this weekend we have, this is really Labor Day weekend, so this is in essence the last real weekend of the summer. And we've got, All About Steve, which is, I think, capitalizing on the fact that both stars, Sandra Bullock and Bradley Cooper, had major hits with The Hangover and The Proposal during the summer, so that comedy brand equity is at play there. And then we have extract from Mike Judge, who directed Office Space, which people love. So there's always a variety of films. It'll be interesting to see at this point, because on the year we're running quite well ahead of last year, if we get the first $10 billion year at the box office.
All right, very quickly, only got about 30 seconds left. Studios, who's going to be the big winner?
Well, so far, Warner's and Paramount have been doing huge amounts of business. Just for the summer alone, Warner Brothers had over $900 million in box office just for their summer releases. Paramount has had a tremendous year. Disney, they've all had major hits. Sony, they're all out there. It's so competitive in this marketplace. Not only are you competing with other media, you're competing with each other. And we'll see if in the end that gives us a record-breaking year in terms of revenue.
All right, thank you very much. Paul Dergarabedian, president of the box office division of Hollywood.com. If you're not doing anything this weekend, go to the movies.